a limit to your love. Like a map with no ocean.
Shifts, dining hall, doing dishes for hours, and then I would realize, what did I make? I made like $38. Working is like so not worth it, but it has to be worth it. Does that make sense?
You know that the University of Maryland is a fucking bubble that's not connected at all with the rest of the campus. You go to Riverdale, you go to Langley Park. I mean, everywhere except University Park, basically. You go anywhere, and it feels like that. And you can see the poverty, you can see the struggle, you can see the issues that are facing the local communities. But the thing is that a lot of people who are working on our campus live in these communities. And you know what? We're under attack because President Lowe and the State Assembly, they raised tuition by 7% last year. But there's not an increase in the amount of money we're getting if we're student workers. There's not an increase in the fucking Pell Grants to cover that. There's not.
Spring 2015, I was working one job, so that's the least amount of jobs I've ever worked. I got a 3.8 GPA, 3.75. Very good. I did very well. I got 3 A's and a B. I think that's me. Fall came around and financial issues came with that, and I was working 3 jobs, and I ended up failing 1 class, taking 2 incompletes, and withdrawing from another. Yeah, so I was a 3.75 student, and because of my struggle with work, I ended up being like a 0 student. It's painful because I know I have the capability of 3.75, but then I see myself falling apart.
I was having a conversation with an older gentleman maybe a week ago. He actually went to Keene University in the 1970s. He paid about $1,000 in tuition, and he was kind of bickering at me like, oh, why do these student workers want higher wages? They're just being lazy. But what I had to educate him on was, hey, this isn't the 1970s. Tuition isn't $1,000 anymore. People are graduating with tons of loans, and for you to be making less than $8 an hour, and for somebody to be telling you, hey, just get a job and you'll be able to pay for it, it's just it's not true. It's false. It's impossible.
There's a limit.
Basically, administrators are falling back on the state legislature, saying the only funding that comes to them for student jobs is through the state legislature, and therefore the only way they can raise wages for students is by getting more funding from the state. When the university pays below the PG County minimum wage, it incentivizes students to go off campus and find better paying jobs off campus. What that does is it creates an academic disincentive. Reports show that students who work on campus actually experience higher rates of retention and graduation than students who work off campus. So the ideal working situation for students is to work 10 to 15 hours a week on campus. That's not the case for the overwhelming majority of working students. In the meeting, we put forth all this information, kind of laid out the national context and said that, you know, our campus basically follows this national context as far as an increase of full-time students looking for jobs, an increase of hours for those who already work. The president and Carla Colella and Jewel Washington expressed sympathy and sensitivity to our situation, but not much beyond that. But they didn't talk anything about what sort of cost it would be to increase the PG County minimum wage, what are effective ways of doing that, how wage increases have been implemented in the past in this campus. And I think what that shows is that these officials, while paying lip service to the fact that student workers are really struggling, they actually haven't put a lot of thought into how to solve that crisis. We also suggested a couple of other funding options, and administrators were not keen on responding with their own options. So we have a lot of work to do going forward this semester. I think we have enough time to build more power, show how strong we are as students, and really articulate the need to raise wages for student workers on campus. It's not a matter of, if we raise this or when we raise this, but how we raise this wage, and how quickly we can raise this wage.
We will be back. 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 We will be back.
There's a limit to your love. Like a map with no ocean.